Alrighty, good afternoon, everybody. This is our KWConnect Overview class. So to get started working with KWConnect, let me minimize this here. We are going to go directly to kwconnect.com. You can access this through MyKW if you were logged into mykw.kw.com. If you click on Education in the top black menu, it'll take you here into Connect. It'll take you to, Resources and KWU, which we're going to go to eventually. But right now, we're going to start on the home page. And before we do anything else, there's two things to take care of. One is to accept cookies down here at the bottom right. This is something that you're going to have to do every time you visit KW Connect or anytime you visit Command. You do have to accept cookies anytime you visit this site, and I believe it's on the main KW website as well. And then once we've accepted the cookies and gotten rid of that message to give us a little bit more space to see where everything is, up in the very top right, if you'll hover over this little silhouette here, it's going to drop down a menu, and if it just says log in, go ahead and click on that. If you have other options in there, that means you're already logged in. But if you're not already, it'll just give you that login option. And you're going to log in here using the same username and password that you use for MyKW and for Command and Kelly and everything. So I'm going to log in as Scott here. And where it's going to take me here is my profile. And we are going to come back to this, but I wanted to go back to the home page and outline some of that first before we come to this profile. This profile is important, and we are going to go over this in good amount of detail. But let's click on the Connect logo up here in the very top left to go back to the Connect homepage. Starting at the very top here, this menu will get you around the site pretty efficiently. We are going to go over each one of these menu items individually, but not just yet. We want to go through the rest of the homepage first. To the right of that menu, there's a little magnifying glass icon here. And if you're familiar with technology at all, you would know the magnifying glass means search. About 99% of the time you see a magnifying glass, or if you see binoculars, it means search. So if I click on this little magnifying glass, it's going to open up my search box up here at the top in place of the menu. Now, this search box is a little bit redundant here on the home page because there's another one just immediately below it. So this search box would be better used on any other page. Here on the home page, we have the main search box here, but if you were anywhere else, you could use this search box here in place of the menu to search for anything within Connect. And we are going to go into more detail about search as well. Just underneath the search box here, we have a couple of sliding banners that are quite distracting, honestly. But these are things that KW International feels like everyone needs to see as soon as they come here into Connect. And you're seeing things like getting tickets for family reunion. That's just a few months away. You're seeing information about tech-enabled agents, so how things are working together within the Command ecosystem. How KW has become #1 in customer service based on Newsweek's survey. That's great. And then getting started with your agent sites. And we do have a class for everything you need to do to get ready for those sites that are going to be coming out on the 22nd. So if you need that, send us an email and we can send you the link to that class. Scrolling underneath that, we have this latest in tech section. This is what everybody's concerned about at the moment. They have been since February. What month is it? It's October. So for the last 8 months, everybody's been curious about technology, what's going on with Command and Kelly and the websites and everything. This is where you're going to find the latest information from KW International's development team about the technology that KW is providing for you. So this is the latest in labs from this past Friday. They do that every Friday at, I believe it's 3 o'clock Central. So if you want to tune into that live, you do have that option. We're going to go over more of that in just a little bit. But in case you can't see it live, that is also recorded, and that's always going to be right here on the homepage as latest in tech. Scrolling down a little bit, we're going to see some featured videos from KW International. And there's a lot of technology-related stuff here, again, because that's what everyone cares about. So there's the Market Center Guide to something. I can't read the rest of that. But 3 simple steps to starting Command. There's that latest in labs recording again. Drag, drop, delight in designs. So if you want to learn how to use the design section within Command, you have that option there. And this is going to be featured videos, but if you go over here to all types or any of these others here, you will see different types of content that can be uploaded into into Connect. And these are going to be, let's see, if we click on audio, these are going to be, what are they called? Featured audio recordings from KW International. So On September 3rd, there's 13 Hacks to Sell 100 Listings a Year by Cody Gibson. He's a mega agent. So he recorded a sort of a podcast for how to sell 100 listings a year. So if you want to learn from a mega agent how they did it, this is a great place to do that. You can also come over to Files. This is uploaded files, again, featured by KWConnect. So how to upload templates into DocuSign, pulling documents from DocuSign into Command, things like that. And then links here is going to be links to resources outside of Command. So this isn't videos or files or anything that's already inside Command. This is linking elsewhere. So maybe to Inman or to Newsweek or something on Facebook or on your own website that you feel like is going to help people build their business, but it's not already in Command. And when you come over to links here, this is from both KW International and anybody else within the company. That's one of the things I do want to cover is anybody within the company can share their own content here within Connect. Now, the idea is that this is supposed to be a learning and sharing resource for how you have been able to build your business and how you want to help other associates be able to build their business also. So if you're a high producing agent in your office and you have a great system for prospecting and things like that, and you want to share that, you can record that or type it up or put it on your website or something, and then put that here into Connect. And we'll talk about how to do that in a little bit. Scrolling down a little further, we've got upcoming courses. This is pulling from KW calendars across all of North America. So anywhere in the US and Canada, if there's a class going on, if the market centers have put it incorrectly, you'll be able to find that class here in the calendar. And so let's see, there's an ALC clinic coming up on, well, one day away. So tomorrow, got Ignite starting next week, got Grow Your Profit Share Tree next week. That doesn't say what that is. Got another Ignite starting in 2 weeks. So if you're interested in any of those classes, you could click on any of those and see more details. We're going to go more into detail about the calendar and events and things like that also once we get past the homepage. Lastly, down here on the homepage, we have trending searches. This is just terms that are popular that people are searching for here within Connect. So if you want to see what other people are searching for, if you click on this, you'll see that KWU on demand stuff. This is recorded live streams. And then there's other live streams, stuff from Gary, latest in labs. And then lastly is a couple of recommendations from KW International, how to create an opportunity, manage opportunities like a pro, and then prep to get paid. These are going to change out periodically as KW International chooses different things to put into this section. Any questions on the homepage before we move on? But we're going to go ahead and move on. And the way we're going to do that is going across this menu here. So starting at memberships, if we hover over that, I'm not going to click into each one of these menu items here. I'm just going to explain what most of them are, and we'll click into a few of them to see more detail. But here for memberships and explore memberships, that means like if you're a member of luxury or farm and ranch or land or commercial, on my memberships, it's going to show those different memberships and resources to do with those memberships. And then under Explore memberships, that's where you can see about joining the rest of those items. Like if you're a member of luxury and you also want to get into commercial, you can get into that also. And if you need more information about joining those different divisions of KW, this is a great place to start, but you'd also want to talk to your MCA. They can help you to sign up for those other divisions. Over here on Calendar, we are going to click on this. There's a good bit to show you here in Calendar. So like I said earlier, this is every event across all of North America in any KW Market Center if they've entered the event correctly into their Market Center intranet. So if your Market Center leadership is putting their events into the intranet, that's fine. They're automatically going to populate over here. If your Market Center is using like a third-party calendar, like Google Calendar, or maybe like an Excel thing or something like that, those events aren't going to be here in this calendar. So they're not going to be searchable by anybody else. So starting at the very top here, you can search the calendar for a name, a certain instructor, or a topic. So one of the things we get questions a lot about is like FSBOs. How do I get FSBOs? How do I do FSBO scripts? How do I handle FSBO objections? So I'm just going to search FSBO and then click on search over here. And this is going to search between a month ago and today. So that's actually not a great date range. I'm going to change that from today to, from 10 to, I read that wrong. From tomorrow on through November 15th. So that's a good date range. So we'll search for that. And it lets me know, let me scroll down to the bottom here. There are 4 pages of 20 results. So there's about 80 things going on that have to do with FSBO sometime in the next month. And if you want to learn more about any particular one of these, you can click on the name of that event. You can also see which market center it's in and who the instructor is that's going to be teaching that. So we've got a FSBO expired peer group that's going to be in Round Rock, taught by Nevada Titworth. And if you're interested in attending that class, you can actually just check this box, and that'll notify that market center that you're interested in attending their class and you might be going over and joining them. Other times, if it's a class that has an external registration link like Eventbrite or something like that, there's a link to go over to that external registration, and you would go and purchase your tickets there, and then you go over to that market center. Now, this is great if you have the ability to travel, but if you want to see things near your area, you want to narrow that down to maybe your state or your zip code or maybe even your time zone, depending on how much you want to travel. So I'm going to search this in Pennsylvania, and I'll see if it does the full name of the state there. Not showing me any results. Let me try just PA. Nothing in Pennsylvania. Okay, let me try. Okay, it's not going to do a. Okay, so let's try a different state, Texas. We'll just search Texas. There's always something going on in Texas. Okay. There we go. So that Nevada Titworth at the expired peer group, Round Rock, is somewhere in Texas. So if you were in Texas, you wanted to learn about FSBO, you could go to this class. Now, I realize Texas is not easy to travel through. There's a lot of Texas. But just as an example, that's within this particular state. You could do that like in California, or if you were in, where are you, Minnesota or wherever, you could search for whatever class you want in your area in whatever time frame. So if we go back and click on just calendar up here in the menu, this is going to go back to that grid view of courses. Now this yellow one here tells me that this is specifically for events at KW International. So if I go up here to advanced filter and look at this checkbox right here, you see the little yellow dot next to it. You'll notice that matches the yellow for these events here. So if you see yellow events on the calendar, that means it's at KW International. You can also uncheck that and check my region. So that's hosted by your region at whatever place your region hosts events at. Down in Pensacola, they hosted them in Baton Rouge. So if you checked that, it would show like the regional leadership meetings or things like that. All regional events would be any market center inside your region. So again, down in Pensacola, it was Northwest Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana, I believe. So any market center in any of those states would show events if I were to check this box. And then my market center, pretty self-explanatory, just events going on at your particular office. And then this is all market centers. So if you want to see events going on everywhere across all of KW, you can check that box and it'll show you events all over the place. And you'd have to narrow that down further because there's over 100 things going on every given day. And then you can also see commercial events. There usually aren't going to be very many of those, but you do have the ability to search by that. For owner, you can pretty much ignore that. More often than not, you're not going to be managing events here in this calendar, so you would leave it on all events. And then you can filter it down by whether it's a class, ALC meeting, team meeting, leadership consultation, a live stream, or just a generic other type of class. If you are going to narrow this down by type, I recommend checking other as well as whatever else it is you want to search for here. So we're going to try searching by class here. And you can choose any of the classes that are in KWU here. So I'm going to choose, let's do career visioning. And then lastly, you can filter by whether this is an online event or an in-person event. Vast majority of them, in fact, I'm not even sure how you would designate it as an online event, but the vast majority are going to be in person, so you don't really need to pay so much attention to this filter. When I click on Apply Filter here, this is going to show me any market center anywhere that's that career visioning class. What was that other filter? Or other here. So let's see here. Let's close that back out. I don't know why these are listed as career visioning here. We've got business planning models, pick your profit. Apparently things are miscategorized here, but theoretically you should be able to find any particular class. Let me narrow this down then instead by, we'll just do Ignite, the one that's definitely going on everywhere. There we go. That's every Ignite going on everywhere. And you'll notice back here on the 30th of September, there were about 28 different Ignite classes that were scheduled that day. And then here today, on the 16th, there are roughly 15 Ignite classes that are going on that day. So if you want to learn more about any of these individual classes that you've filtered down or searched for, if you click on that event, you'll see more information about it. You'll see where it is in that office, the description the Market Center put in there, and then excuse me, what's going to be covered in that class. Does show you a cost if there is a cost related to it, which Ignite, there is no cost. Shows you the location of the office. So if you were near Charlotte, you could go visit this Ignite class. Shows you the instructor there. And then if you wanted to attend that class and you wanted to tell that Market Center to expect you, you would click on Attend right here. Okay, not getting any questions, so let's move over here to Resources. This is the longest menu, and we are going to spend a good bit of time in this menu, but we're not going to click into each and every one of these here. We are going to go ahead and click on Connect Live here. This is where you're going to see the schedule for all the live classes that are being held here on KW Connect by KW International. So let's see, what's today? That was yesterday. So today, Prep to Get Paid, 12 Central. So same time as this class. So they're teaching that right now. So if we wanted to click on that, we could go see that live stream right now. Also at 3 o'clock Central, so 4 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Mountain, 1 o'clock Pacific, there's the Opportunities Q&A. So this is your chance to go and ask questions about opportunities to the people that are actually developing that entire opportunities section of Command. So definitely strong recommendation to go check that out. And you can see the schedule on for, it looks like about another week here, or yeah, about a week. And that'll tell you about when these live streams are. And if you want information about them, you can just click on them. And you can register for that, register to be an on-screen Connect Live participant. That's how you would be able to ask those questions. You got to go register. And then you would just tune in as a viewer by following the live stream link here. So you click on that link at the time of the class, so at 3 o'clock Central. Coming back up here to Resources, Welcome New Associates is resources for brand new KW agents. Whether or not you've done real estate before, coming into KW is a big change from whatever company you came from. KW is not quite like any other company, but especially if you're brand new in real estate, great resources on this page for getting started in your real estate business and specifically in KW. Things about education and logos and marketing and prospecting. So if you want help getting started, that's a great place to get started. Down here for culture, this is where you're going to find a lot of Mo Anderson stuff. The way I define culture, and I feel like they'd approve of this, I define culture as the way that we as individuals and as a company interact with people, and that's any people. So if it's people within the company, people that are our clients, people that are our co-brokers across the deal, people that are the advertisers that we work with, any people, that's culture is the way that we're supposed to interact with them and relate to them. So KW has some definitions for how we're supposed to act as KW associates. There's the Y4C2Ts, there's the MVVBP, all those different acronyms in there. If you want information about what KW believes and how they believe that you're supposed to act as a KW associate, that's where you'd find that there. Events is where you're going to find information about the big ones like Family Reunion, Mega Camp, the big ALC retreats, things like that. If you want more information about them and to get registered for those or like buy tickets for Family Reunion and whatnot, that's where you can do that right there in Events. Industry, we're also not going to click on. That's how you as agents, as the company, and then the company as a corporate entity are interacting and affecting the real estate industry, and then how the real estate industry is working and looking and how you can use that information in your own business. I'm not going to go into very much detail there. So if you want to learn more about how you and the company are interacting with the industry, you can go there. Keller Mortgage will take you, actually, you know what? I'm not 100% sure about this. Let's click on Keller Mortgage. yeah, you can go over to Keller Mortgage right here. It would take you to information about Keller Mortgage or over to the Keller Mortgage site, which is separate. You'd log into Keller Mortgage with the same login information that you used here for KW Connect and My KW in Command. Same login information for all of that. I believe Keller Mortgage is available to everybody now. About 6 months ago, it was only in certain market centers, but I think it's available to everybody now. So if you want that Keller Mortgage option for your clients, your buyers, and your sellers, definitely check that out. It is a great option. You can save your clients literally thousands of dollars, especially in closing costs, by using the Keller Mortgage 0+ option. A little bit of propaganda there. Under resources, next we've got KWU. We are going to click on this. There's a lot of information here in KWU. KWU stands for Keller Williams University. And if you were to access Connect through My KW by clicking on that education link, this is where it would take you, right here to KWU. This is where you can find those official classes from KW International, like Ignite, Bold, career visioning, things like that. You can find information about them, curriculum, all the materials, when those are going on, where. So what we do here is scroll down and we've got courses. This is the full list of about 4 dozen courses that they have here. Steps to start using Command. They've got an official class for that. Again, of course, information about Ignite. The curriculum path about what classes you're supposed to take in what order. Same for leadership. And then you've also got Shift and all these other things down here. If you haven't read Shift yet, and if you haven't taken the Shift class, definitely recommend that you check that out right there because we are in a little bit of a downshift in the market. Everybody knows real estate is cyclical, just like it shows on the cover here. So we were up here and now we're kind of roughly here. And there's no telling how long this is going to go down before it comes back up. But what the book and the class show you is that it is definitely possible to make money, possibly even more money during a downswing, and then set yourself up to be a serious kind of a threat to your local industry as the market comes back up. So definitely check that out there. If we click on courses here, it's going to take us to that full list of courses. Like I said, there's roughly 4 dozen of them. By default, it's going to be sorted alphabetically. You can change that sort there. If you go to most popular, of course, Ignite is going to be right at the top. So I'm going to leave this as alphabetical here. If you want more information about any of these classes, you can click on them. I'm going to go down to Ignite. I scrolled past it, didn't I? There it is right there. Click on Ignite. And within these classes, if they provide the materials, you can access that here in this tab. There's all the files, the PDFs that you can use for Ignite. They've got the Canada versions and then the US versions down here. So these files are the same ones that you can get if you were to go back here on the course info page. You could go and order, you could purchase these materials. I feel like it's like $25 or something like that to order all the printed materials bound in a binder for you. Or you can just go download those PDFs and print them yourself. You're not obligated to buy the materials. You can print them yourself. And then different classes are going to have different options for like e-learning and reviews and faculty resources. You would want to click through those for each class that you're interested in. Ignite doesn't have very much here except for links to the videos that you're going to be looking at during your missions and during the class itself. And yeah, so it's just a simple description of what the class is, that particular class. Coming back up to resources, down here under KWU is MAPS Coaching. If you're at the level in your business where you've been through Ignite, you made it to capping, you've been through Bold, and you've taken your business to the next level, and now you're sort of plateaued, that's when you want to get into coaching. And you can start with group coaching, and then you can move up to individual coaching, and then maybe eventually you can become a coach yourself. So if you want information about building your business through coaching from agents who've done it a good while and know how to teach other agents to get their business up that next step, that's a great way to do this through MAPS Coaching. We are going to click on marketing here. I want to show you one thing in particular that's in logos and branding, but you do also see there's a listing presentation template in here. I believe it's a PowerPoint file. You download that, update the information in there with your information and that particular listing's information, and then print that out and take that on your listing appointment. You've also got red label clothing. So if you want KW branded clothes, you've got that there. Out front is KW's magazine about KW as a company and a lot of that industry and culture stuff. You've got templates for how you can do press releases for like your open house or how you just joined KW, send that off to your newspaper in a good format for that. Social media tips and tricks, and then leadership resources also. But the main thing I want to cover in here is this logos and branding. So let's click on that. And the first thing to show you on this page is this identity and style guide. This is a very important document that you really need to download because it tells you how you are and are not allowed to use the KW name and the KW logo in your marketing materials. It shows you information about different sizes for the logo, relative sizes of the logo and other things, colors that you are and aren't allowed to use with the logo, the way that yard signs should be dimensioned and laid out, the way that business cards should be, the way that email signatures should be. Most of those are pretty broad, but there are some very specific cases of what you are and are not allowed to do. So I definitely encourage you get that PDF, read through that for how you are and are not allowed to use the KW logo. And then speaking of the KW logo, if we scroll down here to the Market Center logos section, this is where you can find your particular Market Center's logo, if it's in here. Not all Market Centers have a logo in here, but most do. So what you'd do here is in this search bar, you'd search for your Market Center number. Mine's 196 back in Pensacola, and it shows me that's the Market Center Gulf Coast. I can see a preview of what that logo looks like. I feel like that was supposed to open in a new tab and it didn't. But there's the preview of that logo. Or if I go back here and I search that 196 again, I can download that. And that's going to download as a zip file with like 4 or 5 folders inside it. In those folders, the logo is going to be in about 24 different formats. There's going to be some EPS files. There's going to be some PNGs, JPEGs, CMYKs, a bunch of different formats. What you'd want to look at is the RGB file. That's usually what you are going to want to put on your websites and your marketing materials. But if you're working with a designer for something kind of bigger and important, and they need the KW logo, you can just send them that entire zip file and they can pull out the format that they need to use for that application. Now, if your Market Center is not in here, so we're going to search for, what's one of the ones that doesn't have one? 582? 587. Okay. I'm just going to search for gobbledygook here. Pretend this is a Market Center name or number, and it doesn't show my Market Center here. That means that KW International hasn't created an official logo for your Market Center, or if they have, it's just not in this spot. So what your Market Center leadership needs to do is to contact kwredlabel.com and have them create a Market Center logo and put it in this section here for you to download. Only Market Center leadership can do this. You can't send an email here to kwredlabel at kw.com and have this created. It has to come from your team leader, your MCA, something like that. Coming back up to resources, we've got a link here for MCAs. This is where you can get information about Account Edge and WinMore and CloudMore and all that stuff and how they work together. If you want information about that, you can do that. Keller Cloud Products is going to be the tech-enabled agent page. And there's, if you go up here to technology and click on tech-enabled agent, this is going to be, oh, sorry, I got it wrong. Keller Cloud Products. It's going to be the same page. So you can access that either here or here. So again, that's training for the different KW technology tools here in Keller Cloud Products. Leverage in KW, you want to equate leverage with hiring. And if you want information about how to hire, who to hire, when to hire, what the interview process should look like that KW has prescribed that works very, very, very well, you could go to this leverage page. There's an entire class about how to hire the best talent for your team. And of course, that first hire is going to be an admin to handle paperwork while you're out doing the real estate agent stuff. Information about profit share, that's KW's, what's that called? Kind of reward slash ersatz retirement plan for KW associates. That's basically KW International sharing the proceeds from building the company if you're helping to build the company. So as you recruit other agents to come into KW and they get into production, you get some of the profit that they contribute to the Market Center. Not part of their commission. It's not commission sharing. It's part of the profit above that commission sharing that the Market Center gets. And if you want more information about that, get that from your team leader. I'm not here to try to sell you on profit share. And then vendor search, we are going to, oops, clicked on the wrong thing. Vendor search. I don't know why it's got the word search in it because there is no search box, but you can scroll through this list here of different companies that have a relationship with KW where you can get different kinds of discounts and packages and things like that from these companies through their relationship with KW. So Magnets USA, lock boxes, all kinds of stuff, stuff with NAR, Office Depot printing, things like that. I believe there used to be, and I don't know if I see it anymore. There we go. T-Mobile, you can get a discount on your T-Mobile account because you're a member of KW. If you're not with T-Mobile, if you were to switch, you would also get that discount. Okay, so that was resources. Coming over here to Ask Agents, what this is supposed to be is a forum for agents to ask other agents about building their business and about probably different issues in building their business. So these top three are pretty great ideas here. Looking for a real estate attorney near New Jersey. So if an agent near New Jersey knew a good attorney that works with real estate, that'd be a great way to share that with this agent. And then an agent is looking for resources for signs. You can share your favorite resource for where to get signs from right there. Marketing, I don't know what the details of that would be, but it's asking about marketing, probably their listing or themselves. So a more experienced agent would be, well-to-do to be able to share that information with that agent. However, a lot of the time, wow, this is looking really great. A lot of the time, what this devolves into, unfortunately, is posting your listing for other people to see or looking for a listing or a referral in a certain area. That's not what this is for. There is a separate section looking for referrals in a certain area, and that's right up here in referrals. Now, we do have a separate class about referrals, so we're not going to cover that in here. We cover referrals as part of Command. So if you're looking for that, go to slmtraining.com and look for that section under the Command section. So here in Ask Agents, this is where you would ask other agents about running your business, not asking them for a referral agent in a certain area, okay? Over here in technology, we're really not going to need to click into all of these. We've covered pretty much all of this. There are classes to learn how to use any KW technology tool in here. So DocuSign, there are still classes about .loop. They're not doing them live anymore. They're not recording new ones, but those classes still exist here in Connect. So if you're still using that, you can do that. Classes about the command websites, about the eEdge websites, the eEdge database, command database, campaigns, smart plans, designs, all that stuff you can find in here. Again, we're not going to cover referrals. We have that separate class. And then we have growth here. So the Career Growth Initiative, in order to talk about that, I have to go back to the Growth Initiative. And not everyone is going to have the same options in this menu that Scott does here. I believe some of these options are only available to leadership. But the Growth Initiative was, I forget how long ago it is now. It's probably close to 10 years. KW International put together this prescribed system for how team leaders were supposed to be recruiting and building their offices to build the company as a whole. It had prescriptions about who to talk to, how to talk to them, how to follow up with them, how many of them to talk to. And what happened is from that, KW grew to be the #1 company in agent count. And then what happened there is, okay, we've proved that the Growth Initiative works for recruiting. We know that these tools are effective. There's no doubt. We grew from, I feel like it was like 75,000 agents to I think it was 140 in a space of like 7 years or something like that. So there was proof in the pudding, no doubt, that the Growth Initiative worked. So then what they did a couple of years ago, I think it's 3 years ago now, they translated that to the Career Growth Initiative. So they took those same types of prescriptions of who to talk to, how often, and how many to talk to, and translated that to agents for clients to help build their business. And that's how now KW has become the indisputable #1 company in agent count, volume, and number of closings. So if your business is struggling and you need help getting clients and getting business, the Career Growth Initiative is your stop. Definitely talk to your market center leadership about getting started with that. Growth Resources is for leadership. So is that expansion is for, say you're a mega agent, you've got a nice big team in your area, and you want to expand your team to another market center. There's information about doing that there. Or you've got, your team in multiple areas and you want to open up your own market center in a new area. There's information about doing that as well. Last thing to cover before we go back to search, we are going to spend some time on search, is up here, upload. So if I click on this upload button, this is where you can share your own content here into KWConnect. And there's 3 options. You can upload a file, so that's a document file, like a PDF or a Word document or a PowerPoint or an Excel file, something like that. You can upload that here. You'd choose your file. If you want to, you can choose an image as a thumbnail. You'd have to give it a title, enter some keywords that relate to this file that you're uploading so that when people are searching, they can find this file with those relevant keywords. Now, you do want these to be relevant. So if you're uploading like FSBO, I keep coming back to, if you're uploading your FSBO script, you wouldn't do anything to do with buyer in this keyword. If you're uploading a listing presentation template, again, you wouldn't do anything to do with buyer. If you're uploading your second visit buyer script, you wouldn't do listing or seller in these keywords. So you want to be accurate to whatever it is you're uploading here. And then there's a description telling about this file that people can read and see whether they want to download it and use it. Official content can't be reported. I don't think everybody's going to have this option of official or general. Not sure why that is there. And then share with community groups. So you'd be sharing this with only whatever groups you choose in here. And you can choose, that doesn't have a limit there. So you can choose to share it just with groups rather than as a general thing to share with everybody. You're usually not going to need to do that. You want everybody to be able to see this. You do want to publish it. You do want to give this the option to show it on the homepage. And then you do want to email the people that are following you for content to let them know, hey, I've got this new piece of content that I've uploaded. And those same options apply if you're uploading a video, except what you're doing here is actually sharing the link to a video that you've already uploaded somewhere else, like Vimeo or YouTube. So you first have to upload your video somewhere else, and then you're actually sharing that video, sharing the link here in this section. It says upload a video here because they want to keep that upload theme across all of this and make it consistent, but it's not actually an upload. You're sharing the link to your video, and it's got all those same options down here. And then the link here, I covered that back on the homepage. This is a link to any content that's not a video outside of KWConnect. That's not a video or a file that you've uploaded here. So again, information from Inman, or if you've got a local newspaper piece or resource that you've created or something and you've hosted it elsewhere, you can share the link to that here in Connect as well. Now remember, the entire point of Connect is to educate your fellow KW associates to help them to build their business. So you want to share as much helpful content here as you can. Oh, sorry, I forgot about this. So before we go back to search, we do have to cover the profile. So if you'll hover over the circle up here, it may just have a person silhouette, but it may also have your picture instead. And if we click on My Profile, this profile here is the one that other agents are going to see if they go to that referral section to look for an agent to refer a buyer or seller to in your area. So this is an internal profile. Only other KW agents are going to see this. So you want to keep in mind that clients are not going to see this profile. Only agents are. So you're not trying to sell yourself to clients. You're just sharing information with other agents within KW. So starting at the top here, we've got our banner image. This has some very specific dimensions that are required to upload here, and we'll cover that in just a minute once we go to edit this profile. Very similar to a banner on Facebook or Twitter or something like that. Got your picture over here. You can kind of change photo to go and change that out, and you'd actually be editing the entire profile if you were to click on that. We're not going to go through each one of these sections here because that would take all day. We're just going to continue down here. Got a biography here. You're putting this biography in. So this is, again, an agent-centered profile. Other agents are seeing this. So you can use the same bio that you use on your client-facing stuff, or you can do a different bio that shows your experience with referrals instead in this section. What's supposed to happen here is you're supposed to be able to choose the statistics that you share on this profile, how many sales you've had in different areas, and how long you've been with KW and in real estate in a general sense. However, that doesn't actually work the majority of the time, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. Down here for memberships, you can't really control this except for actually joining those other sections of KW. So if you're a member of luxury, farm and ranch, land, those would show here. And then service area, you're going to dictate what this says here in this box as well. And we'll talk more about that once we go to edit this profile. So if we scroll back up to the top here, we can either click on the red Edit My Profile link or on this Change Photo button here on your picture. Either one is going to take us to the Edit Profile page. Starting at the top, we've got Upload Photo. That's going to be your picture that shows in the circle and that one back on the profile. Got that banner image, the one that was across the top. And if I hover over this little eye right here, it says required dimensions 1920 pixels wide by 313 pixels tall. It must be exactly those dimensions. It can't be 1921 wide and it can't be 312 tall. It has to be exactly 1920 by 313. So if you've got an image you want to use as that banner image, but you don't have it in that size, we do have a class that shows you specifically how to resize your image to get it to those dimensions. And I just sent that over to you in the chat window there. If you're watching this on a recording and you want that link to that class, just send us an email at support@scottleroymarketing.com and we can get that sent over to you. Down here, you got your contact information, email, pretty self-explanatory. Not 100% sure why there are two fields for phone. I guess ostensibly this would be for like a desk phone, an office phone, and this is your mobile phone. Service area was that last one we covered down at the bottom right. You don't want to list 20 different areas in here because what that tells me, if I were looking for an agent to send a referral to, is that this agent is desperate. This agent is not specialized. This agent does not really know what they're doing. So they're casting a very wide net, hoping to find some business in a very wide area. Instead, what I'm looking for in an agent that I want to send a referral to is specialization in the area that I'm sending this referral into. So Orlando is a specific area. So is Winter Park right next to Orlando. And then Central Florida gets a little big, but the list itself is short. So you want to do one, two, maybe three. Fewer is better in the service area section. Again, for the biography, this is agent focused, so clients are not seeing this biography. So you may want to tailor this in regards to your experience with referrals. Down here for your social media links, it does want the entire link, the full http://www. blah, 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 the entire link to put into these boxes here. Now, if you need help finding those links to put in these boxes, we do have a class specifically for that as well, sending that to you in the chat window right now. So again, if you're watching on the recording, send us an email. We can get that link over to you as well. It shows you exactly, click by click, item by item, line by line, how to find each and every one of these links here to put into these boxes for this profile. Down here for custom tags, these are general tags that are going to apply to your content in a general sense. So for example, say you're a buyer specialist on a team. You're not going to put listing or seller into these tags because you're never going to share listing or seller content because you are a buyer specialist. And vice versa, if you're a listing specialist, you're not going to share buyer type content. So you're not going to put those tags here. These tags are what your content is actually relating to that can be found within Connect when an agent is searching for that. So you don't want to put tags that don't relate to the content that you're uploading because then people will get disappointed when they find your content instead of what they were actually looking for. For primary market center, for most agents, this isn't going to apply. If you're a member of just one market center, you're just going to have that market center as the option. However, if you're a member of multiple market centers, you can choose one or the other as your primary market center. However, I have yet to find what this does, what this affects. It doesn't affect the referral system. It doesn't affect Kelly or Command or anything else. I don't know why this gives you this option here yet. If anybody finds that out, definitely let us know because I'd love to know that. Down here for email frequency, you're choosing how often you're getting notifications about your content and your activity in Connect. So You can get those daily, every time something gets updated, or weekly. So that's every time someone likes your content, every time someone comments on your content, every time someone who follows you that you follow upload new content, and anytime someone follows you. And then down here, you remember those statistics that I mentioned in that teal bar where it was showing, number of sales and years with KW and things? You're supposed to be able to turn those off. Right now, the only thing that's supposed to be showing on Scott's profile is how long he's been with KW. We saw on his profile that's not the case. So if you're running into that and you really want to take off some of those statistics that don't apply to you or you don't want to show, you definitely want to contact KW International Support. If you need help with that, we can get you information for how to contact them. Once you've got all your information updated on this profile here, we'll click on Update to apply all of that. Okay, so let's go back to search. So again, I'm going to click on my magnifying glass up here, and I'm going to search for a couple of things that we get questions about a lot. And while I'm doing that, I need your guys' help. I need you guys to be thinking about other searches that we can look for in Connect for information that you want to find about how to build your business from KW International or other KW associates. This is real estate related stuff or technology related stuff specifically for KW technology. So if there's anything you've always wanted to learn about that you've not been able to find good resources for, we're going to try that here in the class. So send those over to me in that chat box. So the first thing I'm going to search for is just FSBO script, just as a general thing that we get a lot of questions about. By default, it's going to show me all types of content, so videos, files, links, audio files, things like that. And it's going to show me both KW International content and content from other KW associates. You can turn one or the other off. So if I click on the associate one, it's going to turn that gray, so it's showing me only KW items. If I were to turn that back on and turn off KW, it's only associate items. So, you can do one or both of those. And then what it's going to sort by default, and I guess this is the most logical way to do it at first, but is going to be newest first. So this guy just did his first open house. I don't know what that has to do with FSBOs. Maybe he got this listing from a FSBO, but that's probably not exactly what we're looking for. So instead of newest first, more often than not, we want to do relevance instead. So 15-word FSBO script, 15-word script to give FSBOs to isolate them from all agents. Now, this one is a little bit misleading. This is once this is your FSBO, once they've made the decision to use you as their agent and they're getting calls from other agents trying to get that FSBO listing. This is basically telling other agents to back off. They already have an agent. Oz. I don't know who Ozzy Ramirez is, but I think he's a mega agent. He's got his script regarding Zillow. Majority. So agents looking on Zillow, or clients looking on Zillow, or sellers looking on Zillow. He's got a script specifically for that. This guy has a whole program for getting FSBO listings. Got a live call from a mega agent handling a FSBO call right on the phone and recording that. And then on the phone, recording here, Goulet Bowlesday talks about how, I guess it's she, got her $1 million listing that was a FSBO as well. So if you want information about working with FSBOs, great way to do that is search FSBO script and then sort by relevance. You can also do instead highest rated or most popular. I'm not 100% sure what the difference is there. Let's see here. See, highest rated. See, it doesn't tell me that it's anything to do with the hearts or the comments here, so I have no idea what exactly this means, but I believe most popular, no. Yeah, that doesn't really tell me anything either. So more often than not, relevance is going to be what you want. Another one that we get questions about, remember guys, send me your things that you want to search for here in Connect, because this is the last thing that I have. So if we want to continue after this, if you've got stuff that you've been wanting to find information about, definitely send that over to me in the chat window. To open that up at the very top of your screen, you should have 3 green buttons. If you'll click on the one just to the left of center that looks like a speech bubble icon, that's going to open up the chat window over on the right. So if there's anything you want me to search for here to show you better search techniques, definitely send that over to me. So next thing I'm going to search for is listing presentation. And again, every time we search, it's going to do newest first. So 3 reasons to use a real estate pro in a complex digital world. Kurt Davidson shared this. It looks like an external link to an article talking about why using an agent is better than trying to sell by yourself as a FSBO. Great resource, but probably what you're going to want to do is instead sort that by relevance again. And it's going to show me Ignite pre-listing presentation for sellers. So this is straight out of Ignite. It's a template provided by KW International in the Ignite class. Got one from this Terry Moylan that she apparently has updated or created herself to share with others. This is, I guess, an updated one from different market centers, SELA, Southeast Louisiana, or Downey. Editable listing presentation. So if you need somebody else's template to work off of, this is a great way to do that. You could also, if you felt like it, narrow this down to just documents. There are videos about how to use a listing presentation, how to create one, but if you just want the template itself, you would want to switch over to documents. If I come over here to courses, it's going to show me classes that have to do with listing presentations. And of course, your listing specialist class is going to have listing presentations. The listing presentation class in Ignite, listing presentations that impress. It's a lunch and learn from KW International, effective listing presentation techniques. Got Win with Sellers. That's another class specifically for working with sellers. It's going to have listing presentation information there. There's another lunch and learn. It's a family reunion lunch and learn. So that was recorded from family reunion in 2017. One in the seller in Ignite. So lots of listing presentation resources within KW classes as well. That's going to do it for our KWConnect overview for today. I'll see you next week.